Hello and welcome. Today we are going to look into the history of drama or dramatic verse. Drama is defined as a form of performance that involves conflicts, emotions, and the portrayal of human experiences through dialogue and action. Now, when we talk of drama, one person comes to the mind immediately, and that person is William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is probably the most celebrated dramatist, so much so that an entire period of dramatic history is named after him, the age of Shakespeare. But before we talk about Shakespeare, however, it's important to trace back the dramatists who paved the way for the Shakespearean drama. These were a group of English playwrights and pamphleteers called the University Wits. They were trained in classic drama, but they gave their talents to the public stage and rejected many of the classic principles. So the list of the university wits is this, namely Thomas Kidd, George Beale, John Lyly, Thomas Lodge, Robert Greene, Christopher Marlowe, and Thomas Nash. These were the dramatists and playwrights before Shakespeare and were qualified, used to study in Cambridge and Oxford universities, but had given their talents to the public stage and thus had earned a lot of fame in that time period. So John Lyly was most widely known for his romantic prose, Euphus, and in the dramatic work, his 8 comedies were the most famous, and the best of them were Campaspe, Endymion, and Galatea. They were written for the performance at the court, and the unique characteristic of John Lyly's plays used to be the language, which used to be full of wit, ingenuity, and grace. He helped give comedy an intellectual tone, and many of Shakespeare's plays, such as Love's Labour Lost and A Midsummer Night, are considered to be inspired by the works of John Lyly. In comedy, Hudson says he was undeniably Shakespeare's first master. Christopher Marlowe, on the other hand, lived a wild bohemian life, and he got killed in a drunken brawl while he was still young. Some of his plays were Tamburlaine the Great, Dr. Faustus, The Jew of Malta, and Edward II. In his plays, Marlowe introduced the blank verse, which were till then confined to only classic plays and private representations. He brought them to romantic drama and the public stage. Many of the plays of Shakespeare were inspired from that of Marlowe, like his narrative poem Venus and Adonis was in part at least inspired by Marlowe's Hero and Leander. His Richard III and Richard II were clearly based on the model of Edward II. Even in The Merchant of Venice, there were details to show that Shakespeare wrote it with Jew of Malta in the mind. Now we finally turn to the life of William Shakespeare. He was born on 23rd April 1564 at Stratford-on-Avon, Warwickshire. He was the son of a prosperous tradesman of the town. When about 14 years of age, financial misfortunes overtook his father, and thus he was taken away from school so that he could help in some way for the family to earn money. At the age of 19, he married Anne Hathaway. He had 3 children, Susanna, Judith, and Hamlet. In 1587, he left his native town in search of fortune in London. It's said that he left his hometown because of a deer-stealing escapade and had to fly to London to save himself, though there may or may not be truth in the story. Soon he turned to stage and became an actor and then a playwright. In 1592, Robert Greene, one of the university wits, had an ill-natured reference to Shakespeare in his pamphlet, This shows that Shakespeare was well known as a successful author till that time. He remained in London for the next 20 years, producing a couple of plays a year. His fame and wealth grew steadily. He also became shareholder in the leading theatres of that time, Globe and the Blackfriar. He also purchased property in Stratford and London. Despite the increasing fame and wealth, Shakespeare incurred much personal loss. His only son died in the year 1596, his father in 1601, his younger brother Edmund in 1607, his mother in 1608, and he himself died on the 23rd of April 1616. He died on the same date of his birth. So in this video we talked about the definition of drama, about who were the university wits, about John Lyly, Christopher Marlowe, and about the life of Shakespeare. That's it for this one. Thank you for watching.